Welcome to the Courtroom Chronicles. This channel is dedicated to educational content based on real-life cases and true events. This content shared here is drawn directly from the actual case file, and no names, places, or items have been changed. However, the content has been carefully summarized and presented for educational purposes in a comprehension format to inform, enlighten, and spark meaningful discussions. Whether you're here to learn, reflect, or simply understand the real-world scenarios better, you're in the right place. We believe in the power of truthful storytelling to educate and inspire. Disclaimer: while all stories are based on real cases, they are presented in a condensed and structured format for clarity and learning. Viewer discretion is advised where necessary. This case is cited from the Nigerian National Industrial Court online file, which is public record, case overview, and judicial determination. In this case, another claimant, Owamagbe, instituted legal proceedings against his former employer, Nigerian Agip Oil Company Limited, challenging what he described as an unlawful and discriminatory retirement. The core of his claim was that he had been involuntarily retired under the guise of a voluntary retirement without adherence to relevant statutory regulations, particularly Regulation 15A of the Petroleum, Drilling and Production Amendment Regulations 1988, and without observing ministerial directives on employment practices within the oil industry. The claimant sought multiple reliefs, including 1. A declaration that his retirement was wrongful. 2. Payment of lost earnings and benefits exceeding $400 million. 3. Compensation for alleged discriminatory practices. 4. Interest on all awarded sums. The defendant denied these allegations, justifying the retirement under Clause 15A of its Conditions of Service, which permits either party to initiate retirement after age 55. They argued that the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, lacked authority over private employment contracts and emphasized that the claimant had accepted his retirement package worth over $187 million. Judgment highlights by Justice Prof. Elizabeth A. Oji. 1. The claimant's retirement was not voluntary, as it was initiated by the employer. 2. Clause 15A was deemed an unfair labor practice to the extent that it permitted the employer to enforce voluntary retirement unilaterally. 3. The court rejected the claimant's reliance on Regulation 15A and DPR guidelines, finding them not legally binding since they weren't incorporated into the employment contract and the DPR had abandoned enforcing them. 4. Discrimination claims were dismissed as the claimant failed to establish any violation under international conventions, e.g. ILO Convention No. 111. The court awarded the claimant $7.2 million due to unjustified deductions from his retirement benefits. Who won and why? The defendant, Nigerian Agip Oil Company Limited, substantially won the case. While the court agreed that the retirement was involuntary, this did not translate into a finding of wrongful termination because the relevant government regulation, Regulation 15A, and DPR directives were not enforceable against a private employer without contractual incorporation. 2. The claimant failed to meet the legal threshold for discrimination. 3. Most monetary claims, including salary loss and punitive damages, were dismissed. The claimant's only victory was a partial one, the refund of $7.2 million for improper deductions, and the judicial acknowledgement that the retirement was not truly voluntary. Further legal analysis and preventive measures. This case illustrates key legal pitfalls in employment relations, especially in sectors governed by both internal company policies and external regulatory frameworks. To prevent similar disputes, 1. Clarify definitions in employment contracts. Terms like voluntary retirement must be explicitly defined and truly mutual. Employers should obtain documented consent to avoid disputes over intent. 2. Transparent disengagement policies. Companies should clearly outline the grounds and process for both employer-initiated and employee-initiated retirements. This ensures both legal protection and fairness. 3. Contractual incorporation of statutory provisions. If parties intend to rely on external statutes like Regulation 15A or guidelines from regulatory bodies, these must be expressly incorporated into the employment agreement to be enforceable. 4. Avoiding perceived discrimination. The case highlighted inconsistent treatment of employees, e.g. a colleague allegedly retained under similar circumstances. Employers must apply HR policies uniformly to avoid claims of discrimination or favoritism. 5. Proper documentation and immediate legal action. The employer should have documented the retirement as employer-initiated. Meanwhile, the claimant weakened his case by accepting retirement benefits without immediate legal protest, undermining his claims. Thanks so much for watching, fam. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below, and let me know what you think about the case. I love hearing your thoughts and feedback. And hey, if you felt a connection or learned something new, give this video a like and share it with someone who might enjoy it too. Until next time, stay safe, stay real, and I'll catch you in the next one.